Have you ever found yourself at 2 in the morning, phone screen still glowing, scrolling through endless short videos, game levels, laughter in virtual worlds, only to suddenly stop and feel an emptiness in your chest? An entire night passes and nothing remains. Days slip away like the tide, your dreams stay exactly where they were. The people around you slowly fade into shadows. You think you are savoring freedom. In reality, you have stepped into the most dangerous prison. Time is the most merciless dragon king. It never waits, it never warns. It simply flows away in silence until you wake to find everything turned to ash. Long ago, there lived a young fisherman named Urashima Taro. He dwelt in a small seaside village, making his living from the sea, kind-hearted by nature. One day on the shore, he saw a group of children surrounding a small turtle, beating it with sticks and stones, laughing as they tormented it. Taro felt pity rise in him. He stepped forward, scattered the children, and gently returned the turtle to the waves. Before it swam away, the turtle turned its head and looked back at him, as though it understood. The next day, the sea was calm. A great turtle appeared beside his little boat. It spoke, "Benefactor, I am the envoy of the turtle you saved yesterday. The Princess Otohime of the Dragon Palace knows of your kindness and invites you to visit to express her gratitude." Taro was astonished, yet curiosity and goodwill drew him in. He climbed onto the turtle's back and descended into the depths. The waters parted, revealing a magnificent palace, walls of lapis lazuli, pillars of coral, pearls shining like stars. That was the Dragon Palace, an eternal paradise. Otohime, the daughter of the Sea Dragon King, was beautiful as the heavens, gentle as water. She welcomed Taro with a grand feast, delicacies he had never tasted, music and dance that never ceased, flowers blooming in every season without fading, time itself seeming frozen in its most perfect moment. Day after day, Taro immersed himself in bliss. He forgot his mother's voice calling him home, forgot the fishing fires of the village, forgot the world above the waves. In the Dragon Palace, 3 days felt like a dream, 3 months like an instant, 3 years like the blink of an eye. Boundless joy, no labor, no sorrow. He believed this was eternity, yet one day longing for home surged through him like the tide. He remembered his aging mother's white hair, the thatched roof by the sea. He told Otohime he must leave. She listened, a trace of sorrow in her eyes, but she did not stop him. She handed him a delicate jeweled box. "This is a treasure of the Dragon Palace. Take it with you to the human world for protection. But remember, never ever open it." Taro promised, climbed onto the turtle, and returned to the surface. The waves parted. He stepped onto the familiar beach. But everything had changed. The village was still there, the waves still broke, yet the boats were weathered and broken, the houses crumbling. He asked a passerby, "Where's my home? Where's my mother?" The stranger shook his head. "I have never heard your name, but hundreds of years ago there was a fisherman called Urashima Taro who went to sea and never returned. Legend says the Dragon King carried him away." Taro felt as though lightning had struck him. He had spent only days in the Dragon Palace. On land, 300 years had passed. His mother had long since died. His kin turned to dust, the children of the village now white-haired elders. Everything had become unrecognizable. He stood frozen by the sea, heart pierced like a blade. In panic, he remembered Otohime's jeweled box. Perhaps it held a secret to turn back time. Perhaps opening it would restore what was lost. With trembling hands, he lifted the lid. A thread of white smoke rose, wrapping around him like a sigh. When the smoke cleared, he was no longer young. Hair and beard white, back bent, he had become a true old man. He gazed at the sea, tears blurring his sight. The joys of the Dragon Palace had been borrowed time. Even the most beautiful palace hides the sharpest sword of time. Why do we lose ourselves so easily? Because the brain is wired to crave the instant reward of dopamine. The modern world has built infinite amplifiers for it, algorithms that never run dry, short videos that devour hours, game victories that chime like bells, likes and comments in virtual connections. All of it mirrors the Dragon Palace banquet, sweet, effortless, costing nothing in the moment. We cling to a single thought: reality is too hard, I deserve to be happy forever. The more we flee the weight of time, the more time leaves us behind. You immerse yourself, believing you're stretching pleasure, but in truth you're shortening your real life. Yet here is the counterintuitive truth. True freedom is not the endless extension of enjoyment, it is the courage to face how much has already slipped away. The awakening to this moment has already passed. The jeweled box is not a curse, it is the final mercy. It forces you to see the truth. All borrowed time must be repaid, with interest. Only when the intoxicated one awakens does he realize a century has gone. The tragedy of Urashima Taro holds an ancient teaching. The Dragon Palace may be beautiful, but it is not home. Otohime's forbidden box, though taboo, contains the key to the truth of time. Japanese folk wisdom and Zen remind us time is like the ocean tide, it comes and goes without trace. The one who is drunk with pleasure wakes to find everything empty. Buddhism teaches all things are impermanent, because everything passes, the present moment becomes precious. This is Mono no aware, the gentle sorrow for the beauty of things, not indulgent grief, but tender awareness. Cherry blossoms move us because they are fleeting. Life is worth cherishing because it is finite. When enjoyment rises, do not rush to drown in it. Like a fisherman gazing at the sea, pause first. Ask yourself, will this pleasure make me grateful to myself tomorrow? Observe it like a cloud crossing the sky. It arrives, it departs, leaving no attachment. Start today with small steps. Every day, set a do not go ashore limit. If you have been on a screen for more than 1 hour straight, force yourself to shut down for 10 minutes. Go to the window and look at the real world. Leaves moving in the wind, strangers passing, clouds on the horizon. Remind yourself this is the shore. When emptiness, anxiety, or exhaustion rises and you want to escape into the virtual, take 3 deep breaths and ask, if this were my last day, would I choose to spend it here? Once a week, open your own jeweled box. Look back at where your time went this week. Write down the people, things, and dreams you truly want to cherish. Then act immediately. Send a message, make a call, or simply sit in quiet company. Do not wait until 300 years have passed to regret. Enjoyment is a visitor, not the master. The more you notice it, the less power it has to steal your life. There was a modern Urashima Taro. He lost himself in games for years, days and nights reversed, reality fading. One day he forced himself to shut down and step out of the room. He saw his parents' hair had turned white, their eyes weary. In that instant, like white smoke from the box, he awoke. He began with only 1 hour of play per day. Slowly he rebuilt the connection with his family. His life gained weight again, no longer floating illusion, but solid ground on the shore. The one who returns from the Dragon Palace and faces the jeweled box without breaking is the one who has truly lived. The battlefield outside may be screens and notifications, but the battle within happens right now. When the waves of pleasure surge, choose to look once toward the shore. In that choice you reclaim the time that truly belongs to you. If these quiet words in the deep night have stirred even a ripple in you, subscribe to this channel. Listen together to more ancient wisdom and modern awakening. In the comments, share your Dragon Palace moment. How long were you lost? At what point did you wake? Or starting today, what will you do? The night is deep, the tide continues. May you hold the present moment and not waste the light of your days. Good night.